Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy Jay Mason inside the Time Machine on WUAG 103.FM, playing the best of new and old school hip hop, R&B, and everything else in between. With me on the phone right now, I have Timmy Gatling, one of the original members of the New Jack Swing pioneering group, guy, solo artist, and he's written various songs for Bell Biv DeVoe, among others. Mr. Gatling, welcome to the Time Machine.
Hey, how you doing, Jay? How's everything going with you?
Everything's going lovely in the Carolinas. This is a mild, crisp, cool autumn day. So how's things going out in Cali?
Everything is fine. It's sunny. It's nice. I'm working, so that's good.
All right, so you're on your grind right now.
Correct.
Understand that. Now tell the people, when did you get your start singing?
Oh well, I'm from New York City, in Manhattan, and Teddy and I, we were young kids together, and we used to, get involved in a lot of local concerts, a lot of local shows out in New York, and we just loved music, and we got our start when a guy by the name of Gene Griffin discovered us singing. We used to be part of a 9-piece band, and then all of a sudden, he picked the three members out of that band out, and it was myself, Teddy, and a guy by the name of Clarell Henderson, and that started Kids at Work. That was on CBS Records, and that's how we got our start singing.
Okay, that record is actually on eBay right now with singing Hey Yeah. I mean, if you go on eBay, you can see yourself and Teddy looking all young with the Jerry curl juice dripping in the tight stirrup pants, singing Hey Yeah. This was before y'all definitely like hit puberty.
Exactly. That was a long time ago. Yeah, but that's how we got our start, And back then it was like, it was for our parents and stuff. It was like a new beginning, and it was amazing. So that was good. That started everything off.
Right, and I believe Gene Griffin, he was like doing this thing with, I believe, Sunny Records, and the record they helped put out was I Wonder Why He's the Greatest DJ, I believe.
Exactly, Indeed, yeah.
Okay, and Indeed, yeah, they were the same group that did Last Night the DJ Saved My Life, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Same group.
All right, same group. Now, how did the formation of Guy come about?
Well, the formation of Guy came about as we got older and we moved from into young men. Teddy and I went off, and even though we still remained close friends, we went off into different endeavors. And Teddy started to produce a lot of rap groups. He did Kumo D. He did Raps, A New Generation, and he was doing Heavy D at the time, and with massive beats. But I was also writing R&B for other artists like Orange Juice Jones and the Force MDs, and so we decided that let's hook back up and see what we could come back up with, see if we was really interested in putting together a group again. At that time, Clarell Henderson, who wanted to pursue his solo career, left the group because he didn't want to really be confined to what Teddy and I was trying to do. And so I found a guy named Aaron Hall in Brooklyn, New York, who worked at a shoe store, Abraham and Strauss. And at the time I was working there as well in the ladies' shoe department. And he sung for me, and I discovered him, and I brought him to Teddy, and we all had a meeting, and we all met up. And then I was the one who wanted to put the hard rap, riveting beats with the writings of R&B music and see how it would work out. And I think Guy was one of the first R&B acts that really did that. They had that hard rap beat with the R&B singing.
Right, definitely was, because R&B prior to Guy was very plush, very Urban AC, Luther, Anita Baker, Freddie Jackson.
Exactly. You know your stuff. And so, us being young, we loved R&B music. We loved all those acts. We loved R&B period. But we just wanted it to have a little more edge. We wanted it to be hard. We wanted it to define where we were coming from. So we just added that. We combined what Teddy was doing with my writing skills and with Aaron vocals. And that started, God blessed us, and that started something brand new.
Now tell me about some of the songs that you wrote for Orange Juice Jones and For Some D's.
Well, I wrote for the Force MDs. We did a song in a movie called After 12. I did a ballad on their record, and then for Orange Juice Jones, I did "If You Don't Want Your Money, Honey" for Orange Juice Jones, and then from there we did "I'll Be Sure." We did "If I'm Not Your Lover," and from there we just started writing for other people, and then we, and in that process of Guy really hitting, we didn't expect. We knew we was gonna have some success locally. We was always confident that we were one of the baddest young bands out because it just wasn't a farce. We actually played our instruments. Like, I'm a bass player, keyboard player. Teddy was a keyboard player, a phenomenal keyboard player. And Aaron played keyboards. A lot of people don't know Aaron is a great keyboard player as well. So you had three musicians, young musicians, who also sung and had a flair for style. Mm. We didn't have a stylist. No one put us together. We loved to dress. We was right in the crust of what was happening in New York at that period and that time.
Right. So tell me about the making of the landmark debut album, which I believe came out in '88, right?
Correct. March of '88.
March of '88 had the hits "Groove Me," "I Like." Pretty much that whole album was like hot from front to back, A side to B side, and like when "Groove Me" came on, a lot of people probably thought, "Hey, this sounds very similar to the Gap Band," because Aaron's vocal styles was very similar to Charlie Wilson.
Well, that's what we didn't intentionally wanted to go that way, but when I met Aaron, that's immediately who he reminds me of. Immediately, and not just singing like Charlie Wilson, but capturing the essence, the whole style. As soon as Aaron opened up his mouth, it was like, bam, that was it. You couldn't go around it. So what Teddy and I tried to do is not move away from that and not try to hide it, but just bring a new element to it. That if the Gap Band were to put out a new record, this is what they would do, and that's the direction we moved in.
Now, the first record, basically Landmark, and when it comes to the album cover, it's you, Aaron, and Teddy. And then once we see the Groove Me video, Aaron's brother Damon was in the video. Now, tell me a little bit about that situation.
Yeah, and that was hard. It was heartbreaking for me because Teddy and I, you have to remember, Teddy and I have been together ever since we was 11 and 12 years old, and it was very heartbreaking for me, because I didn't want to break up. Everybody getting the story twisted of how I actually left. I left because it was almost forced out by the manager, because I didn't agree with a lot of what Gene Griffin, who was the manager at the time, was manipulating the group and wanted us to do. And I was even back then, I was very contract savvy. At the point in time, I was the head of the group. And so as soon as we signed a contract with Andre Harrell, as soon as we put our names on the dotted line, immediately the power of the power of command started to change, and Gene Griffin started to become a lot more vocal, a lot more wanting to be a part of it, a lot more. I didn't agree that Gene Griffin was a part writer on songs. He didn't write anything. Why is he a part writer on our songs? And for some reason, he started to spend a lot more time with Teddy, and him and Teddy started to partner up on a lot of things that shouldn't have been at that particular time. And I confronted them on it.
So basically, it was like, they were in cahoots, and you kind of like caught their hands in the cookie jar.
Exactly. Immediately I did it. And so he didn't like it. And so him and Teddy, at the time, Aaron was very neutral. Aaron been waiting for success for a long time, because Aaron was a year or two older than Teddy and I. And so he was neutral. He didn't know what to do or what to say. He was just hungry for the success. And Teddy, at the time, I was real surprised at the time that Teddy went that route, because Teddy and I was close, like brothers. And but Gene was older, so he knew how to manipulate the situation, and that's what happened.
Yeah, and we heard about the bitter fallout between Guy and Gene Griffin on their sophomore album, 1991, 90 or 91, The Future, with tracks like "Gotta Be a Leader" and "Total Control."
Exactly. Well, that's what happened. You know, that's the essence of what happened from what I saw early. I saw early on, and you know, thank God that they saw it later. But the sad thing is, you broke up a incredible group. You know, it's almost like what happened to NWA, or a lot of great groups. I mean, you know, you have these great artists with great chemistry and talent, and it, you know, sometimes you have to go that road. But I'm glad they saw what happened. But I saw it a little bit early, and I knew what was going to take place. If he could manipulate me against Teddy, eventually he was going to try to take over everything. And sooner or later, Teddy and Aaron, the blunt of his, you know, power.
Mm-hmm. So you think he also used those same tactics for his other groups like Today and Basic Black?
Oh, I know, because Today used to be under us. I mean, when you got to remember, when God came out, we still had, we were going to, like Today, like Big Bub, and then we had groups that we were developing that we liked. I mean, they was hanging around us during the process of the making of Guy. You know, I came up with the name Guy. I mean, it was, and I'm not just saying it, it was my doing. I mean, it used to be a store on 125th Street at the time in 8th Avenue called Guy LTD, a men's clothing store. So our style came from that, and I named the group Guy. And at the time, a lot of Teddy, and we had a guy that played a major part with us, a guy by the name of David Peasley, who he wrote for Dance Music magazine. He did interviews for that, and he supported us a great deal. And no one liked the name. No one liked the name, and so it finally stuck after a while, because no one could pick a better name, or no one could pick a name, period. So I came up with the name, and it stuck, and
it was all she wrote.
That's all she wrote.
Yeah, now, did you guys expect the whole New Jack Swing sound to take off as big as it was? Because Johnny Kemp and Keith Sweat kicked it off with Just Got Paid and Make It Last Forever, and then basically Guy just came and busted the door down.
Yeah, well, you got to remember, Keith Sweat is phenomenal. Keith Sweat is one of the pioneers of the at that time, 80s, of the young Keith. We lived 5 blocks from each other. So during the making of Keith Sweat, Teddy was involved with it, and Teddy took a lot of hours. At the time, we was writing for other people, but Teddy took the sound that we created, that him and I created a lot of, and gave, you know, and put a lot of the backbeat and stuff on Keith Sweat record. And Keith Sweat, we were friends. We was from the same neighborhood, 5 blocks away from each other. I lived on 120th in Morningside Avenue. Keith Sweat lived on 125th in Morningside Avenue, and Teddy lived on 127th and 7th Avenue. So we were all in the same, and Johnny Kemp was from that area too, so we were all from that same proximity, you know?
It's a small world after all.
Yeah. We were all from that same place, and Keith Sweat opened up the door with his first album, you know?
Okay, you leaving Guy at that point. Basically, Bobby Brown's taking off, New Edition, Heartbreak taking off, Troop on the scene, and then tell me about the making of your debut solo record.
Well, the making of the solo record for me was, I wish I would have been focused like I was, but I think that after I left Guy, I should have put more into the solo record, but it was during that time where I wasn't really as focused on the solo record as I was producing other artists. And I did Keith Sweat's second album, the first single on his second album, Make You Sweat. And I wrote that, and at the time I was doing Belle Biv DeVoe. At the time I was doing Christopher Williams. I did Stephanie Mills. And so I was really up in there. So I was caught up into the limelight and whatever. And at the same time, Monica Lynch, Tommy Boy Records, and Tom Silverman signed me to a solo artist. So I had to do a solo record. So I was running from place to place. So I just did what I thought was right. And I thought that, the first 5 or 6 singles, if you listen to the record, powerful songs, Help and Cheating, and those songs to me were very, very powerful. I'm sad that it didn't hit like it was supposed to, but then again, I wasn't promoting it like I was supposed to. So.
Right, and how did you come about writing Women I See Smile Again for BBD, which also, I believe, co-written by Alton Wookie Stewart?
Yeah, that was my buddy, Alton Wookie Stewart, great singer, great arranger, great background singer in his own right. It's a song that I wrote. I mean, I sit to the piano and a song that I, write from experiences or whatever, and they happened to hear it. We had a meeting with them up at Universal Studios, MCA Records, and at the time, Lil Silas Jr., who played a great part in my career along with Cassandra Mills. Lil Silas was the vice president of black music up at MCA, and at the time they were doing the Belle Biv DeVoe record because Ralph had his solo deal. They was coming off the Any Heartbreak album. Everyone branched off. Bobby, as you know, hit big. Ralph Tresvant was doing a record. And Johnny Gill did a solo record. So that left Belle Biv DeVoe, the 3 unexpected members of New Edition, to really hit as big as they did. So they heard a couple of songs, and they actually picked 5. But we only was able to put 2 on the record.
I believe, was I Need You the other record?
Yeah, I Need You and When Will I See You Smile Again.
Okay, 2 very big ballads, and basically Belle Biv DeVoe, they basically had the second biggest success out of New Edition as Bobby Brown.
Exactly. You know your stuff, man. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm definitely a big fan of that period. Now, what was your opinion on Troop out of California? Basically, they were like the West Coast New Edition, and their dance style was more street, as New Edition was very Temptation-esque.
Yes, exactly. Troop, well, I know Steve Russell, and Steve Russell and I did 1 or 2 songs together. He worked with me on Jasmine Guy record, Another Like My Lover, okay. And he also did songs for the Whispers and whatever. He did songs for B2K. He just did a Chris Brown record, Off the Wall. And he's a great, Steve is a major, major talent. Steve Russell, he's a singer. He's a singer. He's a hard worker, and he's a grinder. And he put his, and he still somehow remained in the game because he loved the business.
Right, yeah, definitely that.
He's a great, and Troop, to answer your question, yes, Troop was like very much street dancers, street dancers who, 2, 3, 4 of the members that can actually sing, like John, Allen, and Steve were the main 3 singers of that group. But yeah, they was more street-oriented, and they had a big record that Chucky Booker produced for them called, Spread My Wings, which hit big. And the remake from the Jacksons, All I Do, which hit big. So
right.
It was a good group.
Definitely were a great group. One of my influences, along with New Edition, but I believe some of the underrated groups of the New Jack period were High Five, Force MDs, and Riff.
Yeah, Riff. That was what you call them, Gerald Levert group. I believe. Riff. What were they? No,
that was Rude Boys.
Yeah, Rude Boys, right. My mistake.
Yeah, I was talking about Riff, the guys that was from Lean on Me in the bathroom.
Yeah, Riff. Yeah, they came and went though quick, but they was a good group. They was a real good group.
Right, and everybody thought High Five was like going to be bigger because basically I Like the Way and She's Playing Hard to Get. Both of those tracks were R&B and pop hits.
Right. Well, a lot of those songs during that period of time, I Like the Way and Teddy we still had a lot of songs in the archives that I had written. I mean, we wrote so many songs, and a lot of those songs, even a song he did for Boy George, Don't Take My Mind on a Trip, that was a song we written together that Teddy was still, giving to different artists. But as far as High Five is concerned, and I heard that Tony, I just found out not too long ago that Tony Thompson passed away. He was a great singer.
Yeah, definitely. His debut album, Sensational, off of Giant, I believe it had some of the big name heavyweight producers like Chucky Thompson, Babyface, Puffy, and it's sad that it didn't blow up like that because I Wanna Love Like That was a hot single.
Yeah, and I didn't know that he had all the personal problems that he had.
Yeah, man, cause I had read like online, I found out that he passed away. It was through like one of those media rumor sites, and I was like, nah, it's a joke. So I went to like an official site, like, okay, he died. Then come to find out that he died basically like huffing Freon.
Yeah, the hustling Freon.
Yeah, and basically like out of all the artists I've done interviewed in the past 3 years of doing the show, it basically just showed me like this business. If you don't have your mind right, it could eat you up.
Destroy you if you don't have your mind right, and if you're not with God. I mean, I think God has been so good to me. God has been my all in all. Teddy and I have talked about it over a period of time about, getting back together, and we talked about God, and we've talked about, our relationship with Jesus Christ, and with my family, my wife, and Jesus Christ, and people who really still, are my true friends. I mean, that has held me up, and the fact that God still allows me to work in this business and play this game, that I've been able to really take care of my family and make right choices,
Right.
And it's tough a lot for other people who lose their way, so.
Yeah, now tell me about the group Legend.
Yeah, again, Legit was a group that my solo record, even though it didn't have big notoriety or whatever, it was still very, very, very popular. It still sold over 400,000 copies.
Mm-hmm.
And so Benny Medina, who was the president up at Warner Brother Records, because Warner Brothers was the major to Tommy Boy Records. They was, Tommy Boy was a subsidiary. To Warner Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
So Benny Medina and Ernie Singleton, they called me up to the office, and basically they wanted to give me another record. And so and Leonard Richardson, who was, if I could see him again, he was an attorney, but he was also an A&R up at Warner Brother Records during that time. And he supported me like none other. He really believed in us and whatever. And I don't really believe that I did him justice because, again, so much money was passed my way at the time. And I was doing, at the time, you have to remember I had the #1 record on Keith Sweat. I was working with all these other artists.
Mm.
I was doing Big Woken. I had separated, but big things was happening. And so Warner Brothers gave me this money to put together. And instead of putting together another solo record, I said, well, let me give my brother and them opportunity to really hit. And I should have, I don't regret doing it, but at the same time, I regret doing it because if you don't understand this business and you're not in it for the love and, you don't know what this business, entails, and you just think it's about parties and money, you can get caught up in that as well. And I think I allowed Legend to do that. I mean, great talent with Ron Wilson, Scott Weatherspoon, Eric, and Larry Gatling, I think, who was my brother at the time, they got into this, they loved it, but they basically entrusted me with their careers, and but they didn't really know about the hard work.
Right. They just only saw like the one side of it, what the TV shows you.
Exactly, and I almost spoiled them too because when they came into it, big advances and clothes and.
So basically, in the words of Jim Jones, ballin'.
Exactly, and so but it didn't happen. That record didn't happen like it was supposed to happen, and I think that was a devastating. It wasn't a shock to me because I did a lot of wrong things that I never did before that, and never will do again.
Right.
I learned from that mistake.
Right, so basically, we popping champagne every night. We popping bottles like we winning the championship. We going to the spotlight. We wearing our Dapper Dan suits and all that good stuff.
Exactly. My man. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so basically, y'all were living the Nino Brown lifestyle from New Jack City.
For real.
That hard. And I kind of feel like kids in my era, it's kind of like in 10, 20 years from now, are we going to be singing Crank That Soldier Boy? I kind of feel like, I was born in '85, so I was like a little kid, and like
Right.
doing new jack, and basically I came of age doing hip hop soul, and basically it kind of feels like my era is kind of like, are we gonna have like a song like "Piece of My Love" or "King Stand the Rain" or "Groove Me" 10, 20 years from now from this generation? Because in the state of the music business right now, record sales are down, and it's a shame that it has to take something like a battle between Kanye and 50 to help rejuvenate record sales a bit.
Well, I'll tell you what, and you know, I wish this broadcast can go over, you know, across nationally, and they can really hear what I'm saying right now, because I mean this from the bottom of my heart. We have put so much into these kids talking about, you know, how to disrespect women, how to disrespect girls, diamonds, balling, champagne, caviar, get your money, man, robbing, this and that. That rap, we allowed rap, which is, I love rap. I love rap for what it was. I love rap for what it is. I love different artists of rap. I'm a big fan of Jay-Z's. I'm a big fan of 50. I'm a big fan of Dr. Dre. I was a big fan of Tupac, Biggie, and all that. But at the same time, you can't take away from R&B and put everything in the one pot. And when you put everything in the one pot and that dissipates, you have nothing left. They took everything from the singer's standpoint and the R&B standpoint and gave it over to rap, and let rap basically dictate the whole entire industry. And no one was something. They VPs and presidents of labels. Even now, it's kind of hard to get a tight R&B record. You only got 2 or 3 back when we was in '88, even in the '90s. You had an onslaught of different artists that you could pick from. Now the only thing you got is a Chris Brown, Neo, if that, and a Mario, if that.
Right.
That's representing R&B.
Mm.
And you have Rihanna and Beyonce, but it's only that you could count on one hand the different artists that's really repping R&B.
Mm. So
you know, before you couldn't remember them all because there was so many. You had everything from Keith Sweat to Johnny Kemp, Freddie Jackson, Luther Vandross, Anita Baker, Mint Condition, Guy, True, Levert, you know?
So basically, nowadays, it's very scarce, limited selection.
But it's you could see it in the numbers. You could see it in the numbers. And now the record sales and everything is down because you have nothing else. If that's not like that in the country department, it's not like that in the pop department. So why does it have to be like that in the black department?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I kind of feel you on that one. Now, this single, tell me about Sweat Drops with Keith Sweat. I mean, when you hear Sweat Drops, you should automatically think junior high, high school dance, people sweating, grinding, last dance of the night, somebody ready to get lucky and turn on Dot Box and Be Fresh Show Love at the end of the night.
Well, that was one of the first songs that I written, like one of the first songs that I've written when I was recording the solo album. I think one of the best songs that really didn't have a chance to really shine, but I love that song.
Sweat Drops?
I love that song, and that's exactly what I was thinking of. Exactly what I was thinking of. But only I was thinking about, like, in New York where you have those basement parties. And
blue light basements?
Yeah, them basement parties and them, you know, them clubs, them center parties, you know, them youth center parties where, you know, the lights go down and you rubbing and it's the last 2-3 songs of the night and it's slow and you got the one you want to be with, and that's where that whole song came from.
Right. You can definitely feel that, like, in like the song. And also too, what was your thoughts on Dino, a white pop artist who basically had R&B undertones with "I Like It" and the very I'll Be Sure-esque 24/7?
I think Dino was good. I really think he was good. I think he was manufactured. I think he really loved music, and I think that the R&B music can influence him. But at the time, I think like the higher echelon people that was running whatever record company he was on, I think it was manufactured for him, for like they've been doing since the beginning of time, to get a white artist to really emulate black music.
Yeah, like Elvis. So you pretty much kind of
Exactly.
feel
And
like
I
the
think
same
it
way
back.
with New Kids.
I think he made some noise,
Mm.
but I don't think he did what he was supposed to do. Same thing they did with Vanilla Ice with Hammer. They always do it.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
You know?
And same thing with New Edition and New Kids.
Exactly. The same way. The same thing. You know?
Yeah, basically just okay. Sub 5 blacks, 5 whites, bigger success.
Exactly. I mean, but they've been doing it since the beginning. The Jackson 5, you had the Osmonds.
Mm.
You know, you have, James Brown and all of this. You get Elvis. So, same thing.
Right. So basically, what are you up to nowadays? Still singing, writing, performing, or just laying low?
No. I have my own publishing company, production company. I have 2 groups that's coming out. I just worked with Amarion and Marcus Houston. We have 2 songs in their movie coming out. Someone Like Me. And so they have a new movie coming out in October that we have 2 songs on that. I'm working with a group right now, but that's called Man's View. I'm working with a young girl, Brittany, who's going to be phenomenal. I'm also working with a young cousin of mine called Candace Jones, who's phenomenal. And so we're working on that right now and putting that all together. And I love writing again, producing, and now the record company is ready to talk. And so everything is going beautiful right now.
Right. And how do you feel about now, 1987, 2007, 20 years, New Jack?
When you in it, you don't think, when you're young like that, you think, you can't even think of 20 years away. And this is what I hope. I hope without it. Hold on just 1 minute. Hello?
Yeah.
I'm back. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, what was the question again?
1987 to 2007. Can't you believe that it's been 20 years since the birth of New Jack Swing?
Okay, that's my phone. I think that you can't even think of 20 years ago when you're trying to make a record. You just want to do the best you can when you're young, and 20 years seem like light years away. But it happened, and it's good. And what I hope for it, I hope that there's a chance that I'm not still dwelling on it, because I don't know how it is, but I really like rock, big, massive rock groups, dude. I wish, not just in a small way, because Keith Sweat just had a thing where he reunited Teddy and Johnny Gill and Johnny Kemp and stuff when he did the Sweatshop, the Sweat Hotel, and did together. But I hope that Teddy, myself, Aaron, Damien have an opportunity before any tragic thing happen, like Gerald Levert or whomever. Have an opportunity to really get back together.
Right, because definitely Guy, definitely sentimental, Peace of My Love, Let's Chill, basically the Future and the debut album, classics in R&B.
Yes, and I think that it has, I think we carved out a place in blues music history. I think that, God blessed us to do, and I really believe in my heart that if not for a long tour, if not for even not a short tour, I think that right now with technology and everything, there's opportunity out there for us, Teddy, myself, Damien, and Aaron, to really get back together and do a massive concert, be it 2 or 3 days, just do a massive concert, go into deep rehearsals, and just where everybody is taken care of, everybody, and we could give the public back what we gave them in 88 and 90,
Yeah, now how can people get in contact with you? Do you have a MySpace page or anything, or official website?
Yeah, well, we're putting it up now, but, we're putting my MySpace page up now, matter of fact, as we speak.
Okay.
And so right now, people can get in contact with me, just make comments and stuff. I still have, you could go to the Google, you could go to Yahoo, you could go to Google, you could go to, the same way YouTube, and make comments. Make comments, talk to me or whatever, and look on it, every other day, every now and then, and I will answer you back.
Okay. Now, do you have any shout-outs that you want to give before we conclude this interview?
Hey, thank you for really knowing the history of New Jack and knowing the history. I never really wanted to label ourselves, but it took on a life of its own. And so, thank you for knowing the history and really knowing the history and really, seeking artists out to come and talk on your show and making them feel important and letting them know that, the music wasn't in vain. And also, you right now, young and whatever, innovator yourself, and you can connect the two. You could create the bridge between, yesterday and today. So that's very important.
I appreciate it. And a special thanks goes to Brandon, New Jack Kid out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and your daughter Tiffany Gatling for making all this possible.
Hey, I appreciate it, Jay. And you take care. Love you, man. And thank you. And tell all the fans that we still love you, too.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Time Machine exclusive, Timmy Gatling, original member of the R&B group Guy, songwriter, singer. Mr. Gatling, thank you for doing this interview and hang on the line.
My man.
All right.